you don't want to see yourself on the screen, so you can switch off the camera, or you can even rename yourself. All right, so we have already 157 people on WooClub, 206 participants in this webinar. So I'm going to start this webinar with a questions to you. So you know who is in this room, in this small studio room in Paris, where we are based as Secretariat. So we would like to know who is in the Zoom room. So I'm going to ask you this question: who is in the room? So you can already respond if you're from a city administration, if you're an expert, or if you don't belong into these categories. All right, we can see already a tendency. More than 50% come from a city administration, which is fantastic, which is exactly the target that we are aiming for in this call for action planning networks. All right, you can still have some seconds to respond. We have almost 200 people connected to WooClub 2. More than half have responded. All right, so we can say that more than half of you come from a city administration. 22% are experts, consultancies, and other people joining, perhaps from regions, agglomerations, other levels of governance. Perhaps we have also some national URBACT points with us, or members of the monitoring committee of the URBACT program. So welcome, everybody. We are very happy to have you. So I'm going now to start with a short presentation, especially for those of you who have not yet been involved in URBACT. So what URBACT is about? So URBACT is a European territorial cooperation program that is co-financed by the European Regional Development Funds and also the member states and partner states of the European Union. And this is actually the 4th generation of URBACT. So that means that URBACT started some time ago in 2002, and we had 3 generations of URBACT programs before 2022. So within this period, since 2002, we have had more than 150 networks of cities. So bringing almost 1,000 cities together to work on a common challenge with the objective to come up with an integrated action plan or a plan that tackles local challenges. So this is what we do. This is, as URBACT, we really foster the cooperation amongst the European cities. So I was wondering whether within these 150 networks, you have already been involved in one of them at least. So let's see who has already been involved in URBACT before within a network. So has your city already participated in URBACT? Yes and no. We have quite a lot of newcomers, that means. More than 50% have not yet participated in URBACT. Fantastic. Very good. Few more seconds. All right, that's a really good number. 53% not yet participated in URBACT. So we are going to make it really clear then for you about what is URBACT about and be more specific on the call. Let's move on. So just wanted to say what the URBACT is. Perhaps I'll move forward to this slide. So what the URBACT program has foreseen in terms of activities. So the core business of URBACT is this networking aspect amongst cities. So we do this networking with European cities with dedicated calls for networks. So every now and then we publish open calls that are calls especially aiming cities, city administrations, but also regional authorities with the objective to help them, to give the necessary tools and help them cooperate and find solutions to their local challenges. So this is the core business of URBACT. But in addition to these networking activities, we also have developed some capacity building offer. So the people, the cities who are involved in these networks benefit from different kinds of activities in terms of trainings, in terms of guidance of how they should actually design and implement their local policies in a participatory way and in an integrated way. So within this capacity building offer, for example, and specifically for the networking, for the action planning networks, we also foresee a summer university, which is a 3-day intensive training for all the people involved in these networks in order to give you tools about how you can really develop an integrated action plan that we will be presenting a bit more in detail afterwards. So in addition to this capacity building offer, we also have communication and knowledge activities. And this is something that we offer to all the cities, to all the URBACT beneficiaries, this kind of visibility and communication on your profiles, on your work, and also on your results with specific tools, specific web pages, but also some other activities that you will discover once you are part of an action planning network. And to do all this, we also have this URBACT method. And if you have read already the guidance we have provided on the webpage, this URBACT method is all about integrated approach. So once cities are part of URBACT, they are trained, they are discussing about this integrated approach and how this integrated approach, how you take into consideration the economic, the social, the environmental aspects, how you take all this consideration in developing your integrated action plans. It's also about participatory approach, because every city involved in URBACT is called to work with the help of local stakeholders, not only with other cities, but also with local stakeholders who have a stake on the integrated action plan that you are expected to deliver. It's also about transnational exchange. And also this is the cooperation aspect and the beauty of URBACT with the cooperation amongst EU cities. And it's also about support from experts, because every network benefits from expert support, but also the support of the URBACT Secretariat and national URBACT points. So in a very nutshell, this is the URBACT program, and I'm going to hand it over now to Christian to tell us more specifically what's this offer of this action planning network called.
Thank you, Jenny. Good morning, everyone. I'm Christian, as Jenny said, a networking officer, and I will now explain you more about what you can expect in action planning network. So why should you apply to an action planning, to be part of the action planning network? So first of all, it offers a unique opportunity to get connected with your peers across Europe. So city practitioners that are working in other cities in Europe, and learn from their experience and be inspired from them. You will be also inspiring them and get, so it's giving and taking exercise. Together, if you have, you will be working on common local policy challenges. So the network of cities works on the same policy challenge. So if you want to develop and implement pertinent solutions in response to your challenges, that's the right place for you. By developing and designing those responses, you will be strengthening your skills in participatory and integrated policy making. Jenny already explained a bit what participatory means. It means involving all different stakeholders in the co-design process of policies, and integrated policy making, so including different dimensions of development. And finally, if you want to make a difference in your city, URBACT is the right address for you, because you can expect that by doing those by doing those activities in participatory integrated way, you will make some shifts in the way how city management processes are done in your city. So we expect to have also these changes at city level. What is good with URBACT is that we are open to all the teams. So it's truly a bottom-up approach. So you can apply to any team, of course, in line with European Union cohesion policy objectives. We have put in the terms of reference the details around where you can find what those policy objectives are, and as well as the specific objectives related to those objectives. So check this further to see if your policy challenge is in line. But I can already assure you that probably it is, because we are dealing with very much the same issues now in Europe, across Europe. What is also important to say is that you will also be offered to tackle the cross-cutting challenges. These are related to digital transformation, gender, and green transition. So regardless of the theme that you will be, or specific policy challenge that you will be tackling, those three cross-cutting aspects will be also considered during the journey. Okay, so let's see what you can expect. So first of all, you'll be doing some nice traveling, either in person or in virtual way, which means that you will be visiting other cities, learning from first-hand experience, doing study visits in different cities across Europe. And also there will be a combination of virtual meetings, online meetings, where you will have some additional inputs on a more common basis or more often. Then the second, at local level, you can expect to set up an URBACT local group. So first of all, this is set up with a core team within the city administration, but there is also a larger URBACT local group, which involves different stakeholders that are relevant for the co-production process of integrated action plan, which is the final result. And by doing all this, you will be experimenting a lot at local level within the URBACT local group. So you will be testing actions in order to see and test the possible upscaling within the integrated action plan. By doing this main co-production process of an integrated action plan, you will be building your capacities by using different tools, different approaches, methods. So you can expect to build your capacity, the way how you work, being also empowered with some probably innovative approaches to deal with challenges. You can also expect that your city will be visible on a European scale, but even broader on a global scale. We are communicating a lot in URBACT. Every network has a specific network webpage, and all the networks are communicating constantly about their progress in the network and the activities they are carrying out. And the same communication happens also at local level, and with the national URBACT points, this visibility is enabled also at national level, so your city appears on the map of cities which are working on sustainable urban development. All this then is supported with a package of finances in order to enable all this, and every network will have up to 850,000 euros to make this all happen. In addition, there will be a lot of support from, you can expect a lot of support from URBACT. As Jenny already said, we have URBACT experts, which will have every network. URBACT Secretariat will be there to support you on every aspect of the journey, and national URBACT points at national level for communication and visibility and other advocacy issues. So a bit more on final key expected result. So at the end, you can expect to produce an integrated action plan. That's the main outcome, main result that every partner should achieve. So the integrated action plan should be a concrete response to your policy challenge with which you come to URBACT. It should have, or it will have, an intervention logic which aims to have actions designed based on testing, so based on empirical experience, already doing some testing also with different stakeholders so that you can really anticipate well how a specific action can be implemented. And all this will be also linked to cohesion policy funds so that you can finance those actions and ensure, of course, the long-lasting change by implementation that will actually happen of different actions. And how is this going to be achieved? So we can say that URBACT is sort of an incubator for city administrations. So it provides a safe space for city practitioners in municipalities to come to that final result, to this integrated action plan. And we will do this with a step-by-step approach. So all will start, so we have a time frame of 2.5 years, more or less. So the first 6 months will be dedicated to set up your URBACT local groups, and in the network to design the customized methodology for exchange and learning that will happen then in the following steps. This is the activation part. So there will be 6 months to develop the entire methodology. Then we'll enter into the real stuff. So planning actions is already where the action will happen at transnational and local level in full sense. So at network level, you will be exploring different solutions, practices, case studies. You will be providing inspiration with your experience, but also getting inspiration from others. And at local level, then you will apply those new ideas and you will engage stakeholders in those testing activities and in the co-designing activities. After 1 year of those planning actions activities, we enter in a more concrete phase where we focus on operationalization of different actions that will be later put in or collected in the integrated action plan. In this step, we'll be drawing lessons from those testing activities. So seeing how different actions can be actually implemented. So those implementation aspects will be considered. And you will also be identifying the necessary and possible resources that you can use for making these different actions a reality afterwards. And finally, after 9 months of this concretization work, we'll have a finale phase where we'll be celebrating actually the successes, but also the failures that you will be doing in the previous stages. But of course, we expect to have, for all of you, to have ready to implement integrated action plans. So you will make the whole world know that you have an integrated action plan that will change the stream of development in your city. And all this is supported by the program. So Jenny already said, Jenny already mentioned, I'm also now repeating some of the elements. So each network will have network experts that will support the network for the whole duration. We'll have specific capacity building events. The flagship event that will happen during the activation, the first 6 months, is the URBACT University, where we will gather the entire community of action planning networks. All the partners will join URBACT University, where we will have a deep dive training on different tools. Then later on, you can expect to have different webinars on different specific tools that you can use in your activities. And we will also provide specific guidance on those cross-cutting dimensions, digital, gender, and green. And finally, we will also try to gather knowledge and ensure the knowledge uptake also for other cities in Europe which are not involved in networks, but can also profit from your learning. So this will be gathered within the URBACT Knowledge Hub activities. So that's how it's going to happen. And now I give a word to my colleague Francesca, which will tell you how you can apply to the call.
Yes, so let's go a bit more into the technicalities of the application. As you can see, the application has been launched on the 9th of January and will be open until the 31st of March. And as Chris already mentioned, in terms of topics that you can apply with, you have absolutely freedom of choose a topic that is near to your local context. So we really want you to choose what's the issue you are going to work out on. And the only thing is that this topic has to be in line with the EU cohesion policy objectives. And already at the application stage, you have to show that your challenge also touches cross-cutting all these three topics that we present you here, which is green transition, gender, and digital transformation. So even though these are not the main topic of your network, you have to show that you will work on all of them in a cross-cutting way. And
let's see now which is, I mean, you have the freedom, as Francesca told you, that to apply with any kind of challenge that you may face, as long as it's an urban challenge. So we are wondering if you have already any idea about the policy challenge, the topic, the theme that you would like to tackle within an URBACT network. So you can reconnect to Book Club if you have, you can update the page where you were before and reconnect to Book Club. So if my colleagues also can share the link to Book Club again. All right, we have quite a wide panel, but green transition is quite powerful already. Yeah,
Let's put a list.
different topics. Let's move it again to the cloud.
Yeah, let's go to the cloud. Huh?
Yeah, green transition is still at the heart of your of the topics that are seen in the screen. Lots of other topics also, but I think they're very much connected also to the green transition. I'll see also mobility, ecosystems, migration. Yes. All right, but the green transition is there. Gender equality, I can also see gender equality is one also of the hot topics. Really glad to hear that. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really nice palette of topics. All right.
okay, so let's go back to a bit more technical details. So the network composition, every network should have between 8 and 10 partners, including one lead partner. And cities from, of course, the member states of the European Union can participate, but also from 2 partner countries, Switzerland and Norway, and from the 5 instruments for pre-accession countries, Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Norway, Macedonia and Serbia. We have put here a link where you can then check more details around this question. In terms of beneficiaries, we categorize the beneficiaries into 2 clusters, cities and non-cities. And our definition of cities includes, of course, cities, municipalities, and towns, which means every city, regardless of its size and population, but also local agencies, public or semi-public organizations set up by a city. For example, an urban planning agency that has a public or semi-public status and that has been set up by a city, counts for us as a city. Infra-municipal government bodies, for example, districts, and also metropolitan authorities. All these count as cities, which means they can be a lead partner within a network. Non-cities beneficiaries can be part of a network, however, in another role, not as lead partner. And non-cities are, for example, universities, research centers, provincial regional authorities, and managing authorities. Of course, as we already said before, cities and non-cities have to come from members from the 27 EU member states, from the 2 partner states, Switzerland and Norway, and from the instruments of pre-accession countries. Other countries, cities and non-cities from other countries can also participate, but on their own coast. So this in terms of beneficiaries. In terms of the composition again of networks and the balance that the network should respect, we can have 2 non-city partners per network. Following the definitions we have seen before, every network can have 2 beneficiaries that are non-cities. A beneficiary, city or non-city, independently from the status, can participate in max 2 networks. So a beneficiary can apply to 2 networks during this application call. And then a city can be a lead partner only of 1 network. And also it's important to know that lead partners can be cities only from the 27 EU member states. So if you are a city from a EU member state, you can apply 2 times, you can apply to 2 networks. However, you can be only 1 time a lead partner. And then we also want that our networks have a focus on diversity. So every network should contain at least 7 beneficiaries from 7 different countries. And in terms of balance, 70% of the partners within of a network should represent less developed regions or regions in transition, and 30% should come from more developed regions. In terms of the resources of the network, of budget, as we already mentioned before, every network has a total budget of 850,000 euro. This is total budget, so includes local co-financing and ERDF and the EU funds. So it's really like the complete budget that the network has at disposal for the action planning network that is applying for. There will be an additional resource that will be paid directly by the program. And these additional resources will be dedicated to the expertise fees. And there are a total of 144,500 euro. In terms of EU funds, as the table shows, they will be calculated based on the status of the partners. So partners from more developed regions will have up to 64% of RDF. Partners from transition regions up to 70% by RDF. Partners from EU less developed regions up to 80% RDF. The other partners who won't have access to EU funds, they will also get their own funds, and the calculation will follow these figures that we show on this table. So 50% Norwegian funds, 50% Swiss national funds, and up to 95% of IPA funds for the countries who are categorized as instruments for pre-accession. We set up a channel, a tool that we call partner search tool, where you can either search for partners, which means you already have your own idea, you can submit your idea and search for cities or non-cities that are interested in the same topic, that face the same challenge locally. So you can really make your idea visible and say, hey, let's join a network together, and the idea is there and other cities, non-cities can see it and contact you. Or on the way around, you actually don't have an idea and you don't know with whom you could work. And you can still connect on this tool and see what ideas are there, what cities and non-cities are interested in working in a network. You can contact each other. It's still non-binding at this stage, but we really recommend to use the tool and see what ideas are out there, which cities and non-cities are willing to participate to URBACT as you, and eventually create a network together with you. So we would like now again to ask you another question.
So from what Francesca presented, are you interested in becoming a lead partner of an action planning network? You can connect again to WUCLAB to respond to this question. Let's see, yes, your interests in regard to lead partner, having this leading role within the network. So a bit of more responsibilities, but also more visibility. All right, you are 254 connected to WUCLAB, so I'm still waiting for a few more responses. So 100 responded already. So most of you not really interested. Half of you not really interested. Maybe some of you, and yes, we have some 22 more determined people here that yes, you're willing to take this role. Very good. All right, thank you very much. Let's move on.
Okay, so if you're interested in applying to this call, there are some main documents that we recommend to read, the terms of reference, the guide for applicants, and the program manual. You can find all them on our website on the link that we put on the slide. I think our colleagues are also sharing these links. In any way, the slides will be made available for you, so you will have easily access to this page with all the documents. And some hints from our side. It's very useful to take your time to really go through the documents and the chapters dedicated to the eligibility criteria and to the assessment criteria. So when you apply, you already have all the questions clarified around, am I eligible? Is this idea eligible? Will be these positively assessed? So it's really like a first step before the application. We created the guides that we also, of course, as the word say, guide you through building a successful proposal. We also already organized or anticipated a set of questions, of common questions that you could have, and we already answered them. So on the link here, you can consult our frequently asked questions. And also don't hesitate to write to us at the email address apn@urbact.eu for whatever questions you didn't find the clarification to in the documents on the webpage. You can definitely ask us your doubts, share with us your insecurities, and we will answer to them. Back to the application process, just for you to know, is divided into 2 steps. First steps will see you submitting your application form on the system Synergy. And the deadline for this first step is the 31st March 2023. We are preparing a technical guide to Synergy that will be made available very soon on our website. Second step is to send us in PDF the application package that you have previously submitted on Synergy, and this should be sent to us by email through the same email address I mentioned before, apn@urbact.eu. The deadline for this step is 3rd April 2023, so a few days later. And to the assessment process, your application and your project will be assessed by an external assessment panel. which will follow objectively all the assessment criteria and will take a decision, and the formal approval will be taken by our monitoring committee at the end of May 2023. So you will be notified around the decision on beginning of June 2023. I give the word to Chris.
Thank you, Francesca. And after approval, every network will need to select their lead expert first. So based on the identified expertise needs that every network will define in the application form, you will send us the candidates for the lead experts. Based on that, URBACT Secretariat will check the overlaps and suitability of experts in coherence with the application form. And then finally, together with the lead partner, there are possible interviews that will happen with those candidates, and then the final selection will be agreed based on that. The pool of URBACT validated experts will be populated in the upcoming months. So don't worry, now it's not yet open, but very soon, in a couple of months, the pool will have a lot of lead expert profiles that can be selected. And by the time your network will be approved, you will have enough time, probably after the submission in April, to gather the letters of intent from different experts. I would also like to invite you to attend our next info sessions. So the next one is already in 2 days, and it is about how to build a strong partnership for an action planning network. Those formats of those sessions will be a bit different from this one. So this will be more on, so first of all, they will enable more time to ask questions. So big part of the session, which is foreseen to be a 1-hour session, will be dedicated to your questions and answers. We'll also start with some main features of partnership, how it needs to be built, but also some main requirements related to the application form. And we will see those different elements that are required so that you can build a strong partnership. So the format will be a bit different. I strongly advise you to attend those because it can really help you with your application form, but also with selecting the right partners and building the right partnership for the proposal. And
let's move now to see your interest, whether you are planning to attend the next URBACT info sessions that that Christian has just presented. So the next one is on Thursday, 10 o'clock again, Central European time, for 1 hour. So are you planning to attend the next info sessions? All right, most of you say yes. Great.
great.
That's good to know, because we now also need to know what's the interest, so we can continue with these kind of presentations, more focused presentations also for the next URBACT calls. Fantastic. Okay. So let's move on. So I also would like to invite you to participate in also national info days or info sessions. So in addition to this European online info sessions that the URBACT Secretariat organizes, we also have national URBACT points who will organize the info sessions in their countries, also in your languages, actually. So you have the list of these info sessions on our website, on the Get Involved webpage. So make sure also you get in contact with them and you also follow these sessions.
And if you haven't been yet persuaded to join an action planning network, before we move to questions and answers, let's maybe just share some of the testimonials from the previous rounds of action planning networks. So the first one from this is left, right? My left, your left probably as well, focuses on the added value of these exchange and learning within the network. So what it gave to the participants, so plurality of ideas, experiences, out of the box thinking, and they were working more on mobility issues, so sustainable urban mobility plans. The right one, if we go to the next slide, it's more about the tools that URBACT offers. So it will be really about trying out concrete tools that you will work on for designing the actions, but also when you will work with different stakeholders, so participatory way of working, but also to how to design the integrated response as such. And of course, there is always a lot about giving examples. So we are really based on learning from firsthand example. And then the middle one is more about how the participation in URBACT can raise the profile of cities. So notably, the small and medium-sized cities can get this visibility, and you can get the recognition in the sense that you are working on some concrete solutions that can be applied, and even your experience as a small, medium-sized city can be very useful for even bigger cities and metropolitan areas in Europe. So there's a huge added value being in an urban community. And finally, to end up, of course, together we drive change for better cities. And probably if you join at the end, this experience will be remembered as an opportunity where you experimented and explored, and you were part of the community. And you will also probably remember the fun events that brought those different people together. And also, finally, your institution will be affected by changes in ways of working. So this is my final words.
Thank you very much.
Join us, and that's it.
So enough with us already. We have been talking quite a lot. We have 10 minutes left before the end. And I have a slide. I have a question for you, and then I'll pick up all the questions from the chat. So the last question for you, if you connect again to WUCLAP, is: do you still want to join us? Do you still want to join us and be part of the URBACT community after all that what you have heard? So you can see that the answers are yes or no is not an answer. So you have this dilemma. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, 273 people connected. 100, more than 100 say that respond. So actually, I'm really happy to announce to the team that yes, everybody's interested in joining us. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do now is that I'm going to pick up some questions. So first, so we have 10 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So very, very brief responses, please. So the first thing I'd like to stress out is that we are going to share the recording of this webinar just after this meeting. So today, later today, we will upload it on the Get Involved webpage. So you can share it again with any other people you want. So the first question is, I'm trying to gather the questions. So there are two questions about the typology of more developed and less developed regions. So there's a question about where we can find this typology, which region is what?
In the terms of reference, and even in the guide, we provide a link to the map. And in the map, you will see, where is location of your city, and you will see to what region your city belongs to. So this is notably only for 27 EU countries, not for pre-accession countries. They're not counted in this. Neither is Switzerland or Norway. So only European regions for ERDF funding.
For ERDF funding. First, very good. Terms of reference and the guide, which is available on the webpage of Get Involved. Then about the co-financing for developed regions. In comparison to the previous calls, there is somebody who has noticed that there is 65%, so a bit less than the previous calls.
Yes, in the previous, in the URBACT 3, it was 70% for the more developed regions. Now it's 5% less. This is due to the fact that some changes have been done based on how the co-financing is done for cooperation programs on European level. So this was the best we could do at this time. Maybe we will see how it comes in later or other calls, but this time this is the best we could do for more developed regions, 65% of co-financing.
All right. Can you also tell us when will the call for experts be ready?
Call for experts is already ready. Application form is ready, which will be online, and it will be published soon in January.
In January.
Yeah, as soon as we have some formal approvals, we get some formal approvals which are necessary before publishing. This is also related to GDPR things and so on.
Very good. So now we will enter a bit more. We have questions about the eligibility of partners. All right. So there is a question about, is it possible to have two cities from the same country in a network with other cities?
In the same network?
Yes.
Yes, it is possible. As we said, it's important that within one network, at least 7 of the partners are from different countries, which allows for the others to be a representative of the same country. So it's possible.
It is possible to have two cities
Always
from the same country.
Until we have this diversity criteria respected, which is like at least 7 partners should be from different countries.
All right. Ara, so there are some questions. So perhaps we need to reformulate some questions to better have a shared understanding. So there is a question about not-for-profit associations. Can they participate in a network by having a local partner, or should they participate as non-city?
So non-for-profit, like NGO, for example.
Yes.
Actually, no, they are not considered eligible to participate as neither as city nor as non-cities.
Yeah, if I can add, so yeah, they cannot be a direct beneficiary, but they can be involved indirectly through the URBACT local group at local level so they can propose the idea to the city municipality. And then if the network is approved later on, they can be an integral part of the URBACT local group. So one of the key stakeholders to be involved.
So we recommend to contact the national URBACT point to understand in which other ways you can be involved besides being a direct beneficiary of the network.
All right. Then there is another question about a local action group. Some cities have local action groups. Are they eligible as partners or lead partners?
Local action groups within cities.
Yes.
Probably if there is a local action group in the city already set up, this is already established. I mean, it's a group that can be involved, but city needs to be committed as an institution. So we need this commitment letter from the city to be involved as an institution. And then if there is a local action group already there, it is already set up to become also to take on the URBACT activities.
Very good. So there was another question about countries. So I guess here the question was about there was a question about whether countries can be considered as cities or non-cities. I mean, countries. So I think here the question is more about national ministries, authorities, whether they can participate in a call.
They can, but they're not considered as cities. So they can participate as non-cities, which means, as we said, they can participate. They cannot take over the role as lead partner. But yeah, like from the regional level on, they are not considered anymore cities. So you can participate as the other category of beneficiary.
So there is a follow-up question which says that, so even association of cities or association of municipalities are not eligible to apply under this call?
This is different. It depends really of the status of the level of, let's say, administrative level of this association. So it's the best if they send us an email. We check with national authorities to see if this level already has a political background, I mean, political decision-making, a council and so on. But we had already in the past some cases where this was possible. Because the decision-making power needs to be behind the association. So we need to check if this is
So this
the case.
depends in every country. So you send a message, or when you have to, in any case, you have questions about the eligibility of partners, you just send a message to apn@urbact.eu. What about private companies? Are they eligible?
Again, not direct beneficiaries, but can be involved as a key stakeholder within the URBACT local group activities and shape together with others and with the city the policies on a specific policy issue.
All right. So I'm going to, I'm going to pick up some other questions about other topics. So if you have any other eligibility questions, do send your question to apn@urbact.eu. I have a question about the testing actions. In an action planning network, cities can test some actions before they include them in the integrated action plans. So there is a question about how many actions you can test. How many actions you can test, and what's the budget for each action? Is this, because in the previous wave we had 10,000 euros, is this still the budget for them?
So basically, testing really depends on the policy challenge we are dealing with. If we are dealing with mobility, the temporary use, there can be some small actions like temporary use actions that can be done very quickly, and you can make a lot of them. But there are also actions which are maybe related more to experience that needs more long-term assessment of effects that are related to the small, to the pilot that you are testing. So it really depends on the policy challenge. So time frame is really different. You can do either 10 or you can do 2. It really depends on the policy challenge. Regarding the finances, every partner has a specific budget for local level activities, and in the network, also this is related to the methodology, depending on the policy challenge, you will agree what kind of testing and how much of it is will be most effective for you in order to come up with a pertinent action that will be in the integrated action plan. So budget will also vary based on that. But we should note that we don't, let's say, infrastructural costs don't belong under this budget, and the budget is of course quite limited. If we just make simple mathematics and divide the number of partners with the overall budget, how much can be spent. So in the previous round it was 10,000, but let's say even 20,000 is possible and feasible to spend for those testing activities.
It's already 11 o'clock, but let's take 3 more minutes just for a few final questions. There is a question about, since we're talking about budget, whether a network is funded 100% by ERDF, or what's the situation about the budget, how it's allocated?
Yeah, no network.
So how the local administration, what's the budget, let's say the budget percentage of the local administration?
Yeah, so as we said before, like no network is funded fully by RDF. This is calculated based on the status of each partner. But yeah, we have a total budget, which has to include also percentage, some local funds. The percentage depends on the composition of the network.
Yeah, and then there are also countries which have co-financing covered by national funds, like Italy had this in the past. So basically every partner from Italy had 100% coverage. But it is true that we need to check from which region the city comes, and this co-financing rate is applied. So the overall budget of 850 includes also the co-financing part.
And another question, a final question about eligibility of counties. So is a county eligible to an action planning network?
So again, probably this is a non-city partner, county, departments, all these levels are counted as a non-city partner. So they are eligible, but as a non-city partner, and there's the maximum of up to 2 within the entire composition of the network.
Per network.
Yeah, per network.
All right, very good. And there was also a question about the duration of the network, whether, I mean, we presented there is a 31 months within being involved in this network. Is there a possibility that we cut this journey is really shortcutted, or?
So this is important question because the time frame needs to fit to your let's say local activities. So you need to understand that it's 2.5 years, and it takes 2.5 years to come up to the integrated action plan. Of course, the reality, it's not linear. So you can already start implementing or changing, specific actions that you will consider already before, depending on which the partner takes it on and so on. But the entire experience is 2.5 years, and this is they need to go through the entire, let's say, journey.
And there were two questions also about the how networks can compensate their carbon footprint. So this is an important question that we are also, as a URBACT Secretariat, are now working on this. So we have already organized our first carbon neutral city festival in June 2021. And now the next step is that we really develop a strategy for our activities at program level, but also at network level. So there will be guidance in the coming months, and as soon as these networks are approved, there will be guidance about how cities, how the network activities can be more green and also offset any carbon footprint. So this is something that we will really work on for this URBACT 4 generation. All right, I think we have responded to most of your questions. So I repeat it again. If you have more questions about the call, about the eligibility of partners, you send us an email to apn@urbact.eu. You also subscribe to our newsletter. We published a newsletter yesterday to announce the launch of the call, but there will be another one end of February or beginning of March. So do subscribe. My colleagues are going to share the link in a few minutes. And I hope you join us again in the next webinar on Thursday in a different format. We will not be the three of us here, but it will be a different format. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for participating in Book Club. And I hope you will join us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.